back again. Let's have it right. Got the slipper and all, or slippers, because, yeah, I'm cushy, bruv. I'm cushy. Let me pop them back on. Let's have it right. Salute to all my Minerals FC Ultras. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notey, you know what I'm saying? And we've got the Minerals FC Ultras membership down there in the description. Ten-man Chelsea, 1. Arsenal, Arsenal, Arsenal. Best team in Europe, 1. Apparently the best team in Europe. If that's the best team in Europe, then football, as I've always said, is in the gutter. Let's have it right. Shambles. How can we even say? These are the title favourites, by the way. These are ones that everyone is saying they've got the best squad in the league. They're going to win the Champions League. They can win the Champions League. They can win the Premier League. The trust the process wrong-uns, the ones that are the cancer to football when it comes to trust the process because they invented it, the trophy, the top 4 trophy. There's still Dorothy wearing their red little shoes, their red little high heels, walking down that path in the Wizard of Oz, trusting that process to have it right. And yet they still haven't won a Premier League in, 20 years? They've won 1 FA Cup under Lego Head in phase 6. That's the benchmark, is it now? Is that the standards? Is that what we're aspiring to be like? What a joke, yeah? We go into this game, first 5 minutes, Zubomendi gets that yellow card. I think to myself, yeah, I can smell their blood. I think we can have them. We actually outplayed them. We outplayed them for the first 30 minutes or 35 minutes. Let's have it right. Esteval Willian had a few little glimpses. Instead of one of the chances, he thought he'd reincarnate himself as Neil Armstrong. But I'm not going to come at the kid. The fact that we're relying on a 18-year-old Brazilian kid tells you the state of our recruitment policy and what we actually need at Chelsea. And then we have João Pedro Twinkle Toes, poor decision making. Enzo Fernandez, the traffic cone, lovely takedown, but it was a great tackle in the end by their defender. And Declan Rice last ditch challenge as well to keep us out and sniff out the danger. So we were on the ascendancy. We were in control. We looked like we were dangerous. Reece James was running the show. He was fantastic. And then we get the pivotal moment in the game where our best player, with Reece James, let's have it right, but the most important player that's the most consistent, always available, plays through knocks and injuries, hasn't been injured, basically acted like a silly sausage, didn't he? And he cost Chelsea the opportunity, not the facts to beat Arsenal, the opportunity to beat Arsenal and really take it to this team by getting sent off. And I've seen Chelsea content creators and ex-merchants saying that wasn't a red card. Well, if you're saying that, you're bought. You're a sellout, because at the end of the day, that was a stonewall red card. We had it done to Reece James against Spursy, and we were all pissed that they didn't get that red card. Well, let's have it right. It goes both ways, doesn't it? Even Enzo Maresca brought up that point. But you cannot deny that was a red card. And that's fantastic. That's great. That's 7 red cards this season, including the gaffer himself. But experience is important. We don't need experience because all you lot are sponsoring this kindergarten FC at Chelsea, that we don't have any leaders, any discipline in this team. Because if we did have that, we wouldn't have Casado making silly, stupid challenges like that, costing us an opportunity to go and take 3 points at the Bridge at home. What are we doing here? And then we go into half-time, 0-0, and then come out the second half. And what does Enzo Maresca do? He wets his panties a little bit, doesn't he? No, he sacrifices our one star boy, our one hope of creation, because Cole Palmer is available, ready to start, doesn't start, is on the bench and doesn't come on, irrespective of us having 10 men. He sacrifices like a lamb, Esteval Willian, and brings on the baby lurch, the same baby lurch that this fan base were hashtagging Note the Garnacho, and now are all in acceptance of this little bruv, this guy's not Chelsea level. And what did he do in the game? Absolute sweet FA, bruv. Yeah, facts. We go into that and we sit back. We have to be contained. What we're doing here. And as I predicted, he was going to play Gusto Cucurella, who was very lucky not to get sent off. Didn't pocket Saka like he did Yamal. So Robert Sanchez couldn't come out at the end of the game saying, you know, Saka's in Cucurella's pocket. Couldn't say that, no. But he's a very lucky boy, Brillo Pad, to be on the pitch. Very, very lucky boy. And I think there was definitely going to be a red card in this game. And it come to us, the most important player. Now Caicedo misses 3 games. He misses 3 big games in the Premier League. And that is the biggest rattle job for me in terms of the outcome of this result. Because as far as Johnny Minnals is concerned, we're not in a title race. But I'll get to that in later on in the video, what we're doing here. And then we go into another pivotal moment where Reece James is single-handedly running our midfield, playing for 2 players, for Caicedo and for the coach singing traffic cone. Where was he, bruv? Too busy bantering Madueke, trying to give it and earn stripes to be proper Chelsea, like he does with Mason Mount, who scored the winner for Man United today. What we doing here? Yeah, it doesn't go any gravy for me, bruv. You know, I couldn't give a toss what you say. You know what I'm saying? It's about what you do, what your performances are. Reece James, confirmed by Enzo Maresca, will not be playing in the Leeds game as well as Caicedo because, yeah, for sure, he's fucked because he's playing midfield. And he had to play midfield because we can't rely on Santos and we can't rely on Isugo's injured and we can't rely on Mr. Glass Lavia. So we had to play Reece James, who was phenomenal, bruv, in this game, my man of the match. And I put Declan Rice as Arsenal's man of the match, but Declan Rice doesn't get it because he was playing with 11 men and Reece was playing with 10 men. What we doing here? But Reece James bags the assists for what player? To head us 1-0 up? Trevoh Chalobah. Let's have it right. So all of you disgraceful, shameless, wrong-uns in the Chelsea fan base, you platformers, asking for Trev to be benched, but play Uncle Tosin because he's got experience, that were coming at Trevoh Chalobah, slandering him, the ones that abused him on Instagram and on Twitter and being racist to him and wishing death threats on him, smashes that ball in, heads the ball in, 1-0 up Chelsea, 10 man. You know what I'm saying? General, proper Chelsea, bruv. Everyone feeling the general on Trev, even the ownership, let's not forget that, exiling Trevoh Chalobah last summer, banishing him from the pre-season, said publicly that he doesn't suit Enzo Maresca's style of play, loaned him to Crystal Palace only in January because of the shambolic recruitment point. Badadildo Shite, who's never available, and the Black John Terry disaster, let's have it right, who's with the bomb squad, signed by Carrot Winstanley, Stuart Little, had to bring him back. Then he won us Conference League, won us the Club World Cup, got us top 4. The general is our best centre back. Let's have it right. And I stand on business when I say that, but that tells you the state of our recruitment policy. But Trev is proper Chelsea, and you lot have to drink in all the proper Chelsea minerals from Trevoh Chalobah because he got us 1-0 lead in a game where you think, shit, we're 10 men down. Are we going to capitulate here? What we doing here, bruv? You know what I'm saying? The ownership wanted to sell him, and they still do want to sell him. So you can drink in the damn minerals, Meatloaf, Tout, Bowley with your Vivid Seats and Clown Lake and Blue Co, yeah, and Siri Merchant. Jog on, have a day off. That in, bruv. I'm loving it, bruv. I'm so happy for Trev to get that goal. And even Gary Cahill, a legend at our football club, underrated, even said Trev is underrated, underappreciated. He's been fantastic. What a top professional. And he absolutely is. He's been phenomenal, bruv. So big up to Trev. We go 1-0 up. And Reece James, I don't want to hear comparisons between Timber, that Timber bit of wood, bruv. Yeah, he plays like NBA Timber with the Timber Wolves, bruv. Not Reece James. Reece James, world class, levels, best right back in the world is Reece James. And it shows you when he's fit, he's incredible, bruv. And he showed captain minerals in this game. And only now, all these Chelsea content creators and presenters coming out going, oh, Reece James is really well class. I knew this 3 years ago, bruv. I knew it four years ago. Was it 5 years ago when we won the Champions League, Club World Cup, Super Cup? And he was brought through with Lampard. And then Tommy T played in wing back. And now he can play any position. He can play centre, right back, right wing back, now inverted midfielder. It's interesting that Enzo Maresca didn't play the inverted Cucurella and Gusto, time to time Gusto, but Reece James was the one in the midfield. And Reece James was carrying that coach singing traffic cone yet again, bruv. And I'm getting sick and tired of it, bruv. You know what I'm saying? But we go 1-0 up, and what did Arsenal do? Arsenal didn't do much, did they? But Robert Sanchez, fantastic bravery to stop Gyökeres getting the rebound, to tuck that in, to go to lead, to basically maybe win the game. Because what happens? Why is Trevoh Chalobah the best defender at Chelsea? Because Wesley Fofana ain't. Wesley Fofana cost us ball watching for Mourinho a score, a header from open play from Arsenal, not set piece. But the set piece merchants conceded a set piece from Chelsea. You can't make this shit up, bruv. You really can't. But we go 1-1 and Gyökeres almost had a sniff there. And Sanchez, now this fan base is glazing up Robert Sanchez. He's in winter wonderland with Cole Palmer lapping it up, bruv. They've done avies and images of him wearing the strawberry Petr Cech headgear. Oh, what are we doing here, bruv? This guy's got a long way to go, man. There's no credit in the bank for this guy, bruv. He's not Chelsea level. I don't care what you tell me, bruv. We could have had Donnarumma, mate. Yeah, we could have had Osimhen. If we actually had killers at Chelsea, we would have won this game. Even with 10 men, we would have won this game. That's how well Chelsea played. And we drew the game and we dropped 2 points. Yeah, for all you title charge merchants bantering Arsenal, giving it chest that you're going to beat Arsenal, and now you're bantering them saying we took 2 points off you. Yeah, tells you how we title challenging mentality if we're bantering them about nicking 2 points off them. How about we are pissed that we didn't get 3 points tonight? That's the reality. That's the mentality we should have at our football club. Yeah, 10-man Chelsea. And we played better than them, yeah? And everyone goes, oh, Arsenal, you beat 10-man Barcelona, but you couldn't beat 10-man Arsenal. And this is you lot saying that you're the favourites to win the Premier League. Football's in the gutter, mate. It really is in the gutter. If this is the advertisement for Premier League football, and this is the biggest game of the season, then football's in the mud, to have it right. Because our £2 billion squad of young'uns went down to 10 men and did show a bit of maturity. To have it right. I mean, it wasn't that hard against a toothless Arsenal in this game. But title charge, yeah, you're only saying title charge, Chelsea creators, because everyone else is so dross. Man City, Liverpool, Villa are a little bit on the ascendancy. Newcastle, Spursy are Spursy, bruv. They're in that's the history of Tottenham, what we doing here. But yeah, Liverpool on the terrible run that they're on, are still 3 points behind us. Man United 3 points behind us. City above us. Let's have it right. Sunderland, Villa 2 points behind us. And we're 6 points behind Arsenal. So actually, Chelsea have blown up the title race tonight, which is fantastic because Arsenal, they are not what everyone makes them out to be. Let's have it right. They need to show Chelsea respect because we're the biggest club in London. We see things they'll never see, but they don't. We've won more trophies than they have under Lego Head's Phase 6 reign. Lego Head in his presser doesn't even blink an eyelid, bruv. Sits there like a Lego Head, like he's some sort of general on business, but wants to cry after the game saying, oh, Chelsea have had 1 day rest more than us. Oh, cry your eyes out like Liam Gallagher in Porto. Oh, you weren't in Porto like Chelsea to win the Champions League. You've never won the Champions League. You've only won an FA Cup. And you want to bring up a charity shield. That's what these gloss up. A charity shield is a trophy. It's an embarrassment, bro. Yeah. But the reality is, and I'm going to say it for what it really is, in this game, that I am pissed Chelsea didn't win. Now, I've seen Chelsea content creators and all the Chelsea supporters on the timeline going, I'm so proud of the boys. They're doing jellyfish potter. The boys gave everything. We're so proud of the performance. We were playing with 10 men. Bruv, I've seen Chelsea, the Chelsea, real Chelsea under Don Roman, yeah, lose our captain John Terry at the Camp Nou, yeah, against prime Barcelona, not the shit that we beat with 10 men, the worst Barcelona team to ever exist in my lifetime, bruv. Yeah, prime Barcelona, Xavi, Iniesta, yeah, Busquets, Messi. What we doing here, bruv? Yeah, we beat them. We went through. We've beaten great Barcelona teams, bruv. Yeah, we've never had two Ballon d'Or players playing the same team at Chelsea. No, we had Lampard go second to Ronaldinho, the greatest player to one of the greatest to grace the game, bruv. Yeah, from a midfielder that scores 20 goals a season. What midfielder's doing that in this era of football? There ain't none. That's how football's in the gutter, bruv. Yeah, what about Eden Hazard? You forget about Eden Hazard. Even Cole Palmer's forgetting about putting Eden Hazard in top 5 players in the Premier League. It's disgraceful, bruv. Yeah. Instead, Cole Palmer, who I don't believe's fit, he's licking his lips and giving it all, joining in with all the boos from Madueke. Where's the professionalism? Why are all these young kids acting like this? This is not how they should be acting. They're getting overpaid, bruv. It's ridiculous, yeah. All right. But the reality is, yeah, my standards will always be with Don Roman. We should be beating that Arsenal team. That Arsenal team, let me remind everyone, yeah, lost Gabriel, injured. They also lost Saliba, the same Saliba that everyone, bigs up. The same Saliba that's got his camera out and he's filming his France teammate, noshing off, bruv, like the Arsenal base, noshing off to his trust the process under Lego head, and they still ain't won a Premier League or a Champions League or a Europa League like Spursy have. What are we doing here? Yeah. So they lost both their centre backs. So that's definitely going to affect the way they play at the back. It's definitely going to affect their defensive capabilities and their levels of what we know. It then resulted to no Trossard, who's their most informed winger, or their Arsenal fan base wants sold, let's have it right. The no makeup Heath Ledger Joker, bruv. He wasn't having an appearance, bruv. He was too busy like Heath Ledger, bruv. Hangman settings. And then we've got Martinelli Spaghetti, who is pants. He just lives off that goal, that fluke goal he scored against us at Stamford Bridge, but he didn't do nothing at Stamford Bridge except a shot that Sanchez saved. But it's a limp shot. What are we doing here? Like Arsenal, limp dicks in a title charge, bruv. Come March, they always bottle it. They're the bottle job banter FCs. You know what I'm saying? And then Saka, what did Saka really do? Not much. Marino's the only one that turned up with a goal. And then they didn't have Gyökeres because he's come from injury. And they brought Gyökeres towards the end of the game. And he had an opportunity. But Timber, the so-called best right back, didn't hear the call out from, I'm here, Timber. Let me header to win the game so I can go towards I'm going to score 30 goals this season. Yeah, let's have it right. I think he's a bit of Lakaka in disguise, bruv, what we doing here. Takes it off him and he could have had a free header to win the game. What we doing here? That was all they had. Arsenal didn't have much. But the key point that has to be made is what player is the most important player at Arsenal Football Club, who I believe should be captain, not Odegaard, the Vidal Sassoon merchant, who did come on, tried to pull strings. Get your violin out. Didn't pull no strings. No, we got our clippers out, gold clippers with the 2 stars for the Champions League, burning them threads, bruv, them cotton threads, because you ain't stitching Chelsea up. Let's have it right. In fact, we stitched you up. What we do. Declan Rice. Where was Declan Rice playing? The geezer was basically playing centre-back for the whole game. He was the one trying to play it at the back because their 2 central defenders aren't capable and ain't good enough. So when you lose that resilience and you're relying on your best player, who is a box-to-box number 8 that you do not compare to Casado, you compare him to the coach singing Traffic Cone Enzo Fernandez, and Declan Rice is better than Enzo Fernandez, let's have it right. Put in a performance like that, he was their man of the match, but he couldn't be part of the transitions. How many times did you see Declan Rice doing what he did against Bayern Munich? The same Bayern Munich they beat 3-1, we lost to 3-1. 10-man Chelsea, yeah, it's difficult to play against 10 men. Ask Man United, who lost at home to Everton 1-0. Let's have it right. Well, Arsenal didn't lose, and sometimes Arsenal ain't going to always put in a performance, and that was their B team. And Chelsea couldn't even beat their B team. So that's why I don't celebrate this result. I don't celebrate draws. That's dead mentality. That's not Chelsea mentality. That's not Don Roman mentality. I'm used to win or get binned, bruv. Yeah? It's an absolute disgrace that people are shouting and screaming about it and bantering Arsenal about it. Now, I can banter Arsenal because Chelsea are bigger than them, and that's a fact, bro. But everyone coming out going, oh, if we had 11 men against 11 men, we would have beaten them. Fact. It's not a fact. We would have had a better chance and opportunity, but it's not a fact. And that's the reality. That's why I don't accept these standards. And that's why Chelsea standards are in the mud. Like the ownership say, there's no pressure for us to win the Premier League. They're not expecting that. They're just expecting top four. They're lowering the standards so that they're safe all the time. We're in phase 4 under Blueco. Yeah, for all you talk Blueco merchants, you Bonnie Bluecos, you 10% discount Megastore, Chelsea Megastore discount, get your QR code merch, yeah? Anything for a brown envelope. Well, go at Taylor and say Taylor's a disgrace when it was the right decision. You'll come at all the excuses under the sun. You're all sunshine and rainbows. But the reality is, imagine if we had Osimhen up front and we actually had a killer, a natural striker, not a Dilap who's unproven, or a João Pedro who's not actually a number 9, bruv. Yeah, imagine if we didn't have the baby Lurch. Imagine if we didn't have to rely on Esteval Willian or a Neto who's meant to be the most experienced. Yeah, and even Thierry Henry is saying that Reece James completely dominated the midfield of Arsenal. Well, you would dominate that. Declan Rice isn't always there if he's having to play centre back as well. But at the same time, well, you force Zubimendi off, you forced Lego into making changes. The same Lego that's still undefeated at Stamford Bridge. It makes me sick to my stomach. That's ridiculous, bro. So how are we in a title charge and accepting a draw at home, regardless if we've got 10 men? Not me, bro. I'm not accepting that. And that's my mentality. I'm not accepting these wishy-washy standards, bro. Absolutely not. Yeah. So this is where I look at it. This is exactly how I see it. And the reality is now we're going into these squeaky bum time fixtures into December. We're only just, we're coming into December tomorrow. So at the end of the day, what are we doing here, bruv? Yeah. You honestly believe we're in a title charge? Of course. Yeah, maybe you do. Maybe it's clickbait. Maybe it's just toxic positivity. Being positive sells. Or just being real should sell, you know, naturally. And that's why I need to be around more. You know what I'm saying? And all the Arsenal, you know, humble yourselves. Listen to Erling Haaland, bruv. Because the Sharks can smell the blood. They're the true title challengers. They're the ones that I believe will win the Premier League, even though they're up and down like a yo-yo, bruv. You know what I'm saying? Never write off Liverpool. I don't write off the slot machine. They're not going to, this run of form's not going to last forever. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at it, if we're on a title charge, how can you lose to Sunderland at home? How can you lose to Brighton at home? How can you lose to the state of that Man United squad and team away at Old Trafford? And you hide behind, we got 10 men, but you live it up when we beat a 10-man Barca. You know, it's just the hypocrisy and moving the goalposts is just relentless, isn't it? It's just anything to suit a narrative. My narrative is always the same. We lose, draw, Blueco out. We should be saying we're winning the Premier League after spending 2 billion, assembling this squad, all right? But we're not. Deep down, you all know that. And to me, I am disappointed that we didn't win this game because we actually had the best chance to beat Arsenal, a weakened Arsenal. Because I guarantee you, if they had the players I mentioned that were missing in that team, we ain't in that game. And that I will say is a fact, bruv. But in North London derbies, well, that's just not a North London derby, is it? Spursy, they're no competition. But Chelsea actually put up a fight, and I'll give an applause for that. I like the fact that we did press them. I like the fact that we did look like the better team with 11 men. We actually held them with 10 men. You know what I'm saying? And we maybe could have had a chance to win the game or even hold on to a 1-0 lead. Like, why couldn't we do that like Everton? You know what I'm saying? But we haven't got the experience. We don't have that throughout the team. We don't have that world-class spine. Well, you tell us we do. But let's go back in the market. We need to go back in the market. We need to spend more money, don't we? You know what I'm saying? So that's where we are. But Enzo Maresca says, I start to prepare Arsenal the day before Barcelona. They have many weapons, are good in both phases, on and off the ball. They're great in trust the process phases, have it right. They can use different plans. but can use we can use a different plan to try and win the game, but we didn't win the game. And that's the reality of the situation, bruv. You know what I'm saying? I just think that this was the best opportunity in the state that Arsenal were. And I'm sick of Enzo Fernandez coming out going, they think the Premier League is easy to win. With a red card, we showed them we are the best team in the world. Mate, if we were the best team in the world, truly, yeah, we would be beating them with 10 men, yeah, like Chelsea did, knocking out Barcelona, bruv. One of the probably the greatest Barcelona's greatest ever team feared Chelsea. Messi and all them lot come out, publicly said it. They fear playing Chelsea. Who actually fears playing Chelsea? Let's be real about it. Who fears playing Chelsea? Nah. You lot are a long way from Starbucks, bruv. You need to all have a day off. And can everybody just stop getting shot? Put all your comments down, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, all that jazz. You know the deal. And we'll leave on the true narrative, because Chelsea are the new age of Arsenal. We're going more and more years without actually having a chance of winning the major honours, because if you're not winning the major honours, then what is the point? You don't become relevant. But all the content creators, they want to feel relevant, like we are in a title charge. Say it with chest, you Melch, yeah? Say it with chest. The reality is, deep down, you know, yeah, we're not ready for that title, bruv, yeah? And without Caicedo, our most important player of the season in the midfield, who carries us, what are we doing here? And let's see if Cole Palmer's back in the mix. Up the Chelsea, we see things they'll never see. Let's have it right. No surrender mentality. Win, lose, draw, blue co out. Let's go.